Welcome back, guys, to the Korean Open Division Playoff Season 3, brought to you by Broadcast.gg. I'm your host, Ham Tornado, and I'll be joined on the desk by my two lovely sons, our analysts, Pulsable and Dream. And we have a slobber knocker fest for you coming up here. Goin Water S, the potential, the favorite, definitely the crowd favorite, coming up against MonkaS. So, for just to set the stakes here, in case anybody's just now joining us, this is Korean Korean Open Division playoffs. So all four of these teams competing now in today's semifinals have already made it into trials. Now it's just about getting that pride, getting that first place right next to your name. And of course, we cannot also forget about the considerable prize pool that these teams will be hopefully enjoying in the future. So in our first matchup of today, we did have Wildcat winning against Freesia Gaming. They will now already be moving on into the grand finals to play either Goin Water S in or MonkaS in today's, whoever wins in today's series. So let's just dive straight into the teams. I know there is a big Goin Water S fanboy on the desk right here. Dream, why don't you tell us a little bit about your team?
Goin Water S is not just my team, thankfully, just absolutely the fan favorite. Just how you said, a lot of support in Korea and in the West, and all of that is based around Amy. Amy has a storied history in Korean Overwatch, and in recent times was very unlucky, kind of was on Runaway, got cut because Slime came in, turned out to be one of the best main supports in Korea, maybe the world, right? So you kind of feel bad for Amy. Then some contract issues bounced around, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to put a team together myself, pulling in a bunch of players that he's played with in the past, kind of an island of misfit toys here, and they're getting together to push through to try and get a spot in contenders, striking while the iron is hot. So I think looking out for Amy, and then as well. With a ton of experience all the way back to Apex Season 3. Those are the two faces that I'm going to watch for the old school play, and then the new school, the Sombra. I think Doha is the other player on Goin Water that we're going to see a lot of.
So a lot of veteran talent on this Goin Water S team, as well as just a lot of potential for individual carry plays. Now, Pulsable, their opponents, MonkaS, they're not any small Wilton Wallflowers either. They have a pretty standout lineup.
Oh, certainly. They're definitely the underdogs, but they're not someone to take lightly, right? One of the main advantages I think that they're going to have against Goin Water S is that they're going to have a bit of insight into how a few of their players work, right? Water specifically from Goin Water S used to play on a Chinese contenders team called Legend Young Beyond. Well, his coach, Isane, is now on MonkaS. So if Water gets played here for Goin Water S, it might throw a wrench in their plans here. They're going to have to try and adapt to the mental game, if nothing else.
There is some interesting former teammate rivalry here, LYB versus LYB. So that'll certainly be interesting to see how that plays out. And of course, we also have to talk about these map types. So semifinals are still going to be a best of 5. But while Goin Water S won their quarterfinals matchup in a 3-0, we did have MonkaS dropping a single map Rialto. So Escort may be one of those map types that are a little bit weaker to them. But, of course, with a 3-0 on the side of Goin Water S, they not only won Watchpoint Gibraltar, but they also full held. So, Dream, if you were going to be MonkaS coming up against this team, what would the long-term game plan be over this series?
I think you want to get off to a really strong start on Control. We know that they like to run the Mei here on Li Zhang. So that I think is a great start. And I think that if you fall on that first map, you really do want to go to Rialto. And the reason for that is I think the Sombra matchup is going to be in Goin Water's favor. So if you want to try and get around that or not get punished so hard by that Sombra, I think Rialto is a great pick. So I expect to see MonkaS try really hard to get that initial control win. But if that's not possible, going to Rialto, despite the fact that they lost on that in the last round.
Well, and this is where MonkaS kind of fall into a bit of a paradox, right? Because they want to win Control because it's the most likely map for them to take. But if they win that, then they give the next map pick over to Goin Water S, and Goin Water S probably takes it to Gibraltar, where MonkaS is not as good as them, right? So it's a kind of, done if you do, done if you don't situation for MonkaS here. They're going to be fighting an uphill battle.
a bit of a catch-22, but this is just us on the desk theory crafting. But the real people who will take you through the action of these games are our lovely casters, Rapture and Kenobi. They will be going into the games right after this break as we get the lobbies set up, folks. So don't go anywhere. Semifinals Game 2 between Goin Water S and MonkaS right after this.
Welcome back, Overwatchers. This is Overwatch Korea Open Division Season 3, 2018, the semifinals, and our second semifinal matchup of the day. I am Rapture, here with Kenobi, and the English coverage here brought to you by Broadcast.gg, and we have another exciting matchup after the 3-0 we saw from Wildcat versus Freesia Gaming, which was also super hype and very close despite the scoreline. Now we have a matchup against Goin Water S versus MonkaS. Kenobi, you ready to get into this one?
Mute bug, dude. I catch it just all the time. See, even after I've been doing this so long, you just everyone gets one of those mute bugs. So unfortunately, but it looks like we're going to be going into Nepal as our first map, and I'm really interested to see what Goin Water S does with this island of misfit toys that Dreamcoin did on the desk. I really like that analogy. It's going to be interesting to see how they play and how they bring out this composition. As MonkaS going to be bringing out a Diva composition, but with a Moira instead of something like a Zenyatta. Interesting, Rapture.
Yeah, already slightly different compositions for both of these teams, but again, you got to look at the Sombra from Goin Water. They already have, Doha on that Sombra, so that's gonna be a big deal. But of course, Zion just completely shuts them down almost immediately with that Moira. So MonkaS has to convert that into a completion. Goin Water will let them do so.
Yeah, and I was questioning the Moira pick a little bit from Zion, but already to a Coalescence, he's the only one who has an ultimate right now, and MonkaS can use it to, maybe sustain a little bit through these next fights.
Well, that's the thing, is Goin Water has to break out of this choke point, and that's where the Coalescence is stopping them from doing so, but Zion can't stay alive long enough. Jiwon is able to take him out, and then Water finds the cut down onto Romeo, so that this is just a complete snowball here from Goin Water, off that Nano boost as well, but they'll have a sound barrier and a self-destruct and a Primal reach for the next fight, Kenobi.
Yeah, what I really liked there from Goin Water was the Coalescence came up, but they zoned out Zion away from the rest of the team. He wasn't able to get that healing onto anyone, so they just ended up dying. And then the Nano Blade onto Water. I mean, flow like water. Rapture, we know this guy very well. Watching him a lot in LYB, he is definitely the shining spot of that team. And let's see how much more he can do on this Genji.
And he slips up a little bit there, so put him on the little bit of a hot spot there, but gets sound barrier, and keep going in, looking for some charge. Gets cut down to 43 HP. Noah putting down sleep as well, but you can see Water can't do anything as a primary aging. Winston had him occupied almost the entire time, and now he's still kept at 70, about 83 ult charge, but still an advantage for Goin Water.
Yeah, and it was almost worst case scenario there for MonkaS. They used a lot of ultimates. They used the Dragon Blade and the Coalescence just coming up online right now, but it looks like actually they might be able to turn this. Unfortunately, maybe not, as Lucio's gonna go down. Unfortunately, that might just be it for the side of MonkaS. Goin Water gonna keep taking this percentage in their favors.
Yeah, and MonkaS struggling to keep pace here with Goin Water, because Goin Water's cutting these fights pretty quickly, so MonkaS doesn't have much time, much room to build ult charge for this next fight.
And Water again has that Dragon Blade, the Nano Blade online, and it looks like it's going to come out right now, just in this corner right now, slicing and dicing through the enemy team, trying to get those kills Raptured.
Yeah, and MonkaS didn't have much room, so there's 2 kills they have to take. 64 advantage for Goin Water and MonkaS falls back because they know they have to reset only 20% to work with.
And I really like that aggressive play actually coming out from Going Auto Rest, using that Nano Blade proactively, you know, making MonkaS go back to spawn, making sure they aren't comfortable, even forcing out the Coalescence to try and deal with it. So great use of ultimates there as 90% Rapture. This is last fight territory. Water just waiting for his perfect moment to strike.
Yeah, Water trying to get a squishy before this fight goes down, and Chang has a pulse bomb, so he can easily throw that and get a quick kill. Doesn't find anybody, and neither does Sleep Self-Destruct, so Ferrari has to pick up the slack, finds a kill onto Water. Lower than 100 HP and barely close enough to the final rate. Oh, got 100% as they got cut down. Rory shutting down and then Chang Dmacc and kills no Jiwon. Now MonkaS finds themselves for the first time in a while in an advantageous position.
MonkaS finally, the ultimates start coming through, and the blade there, they have this blade from Romeo, could be able to stall even some more, but again, they are at 40%. They have a lot of fights left in them to win this point, and only for 99% for Going Water. They just need one fight here.
Yeah, and there's the blade goes right in, but the sound barrier keeps them bolstered up so Water can even be more aggressive than they need to. And a great sleep from Noah so that Winston can't chase down the Genji. Now MonkaS has very few resources to keep this fight alive. Going Water is at 99%. They get the easy, clean capture. Overtime ticks away, and MonkaS is going to be down the first phase here on Nepal.
And Dream talked about it on the desk, how good of a player Amy was rather. Noah also a very good player in his own right, but Amy there at the last second using that sound barrier perfectly timed to deal with that Dragon Blade, and then the collapse onto Romeo so that he couldn't get any picks. Great job from them. And then Noah with the sleep onto Ferrari, making sure he was out of the fight completely. So great support play coming out from Going Water. And now we're going to be going to the second map of Nepal. I believe it's this Shrine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think this is Shrine. I can't tell because the camera is...
Yeah, I saw like a little glimpse, and I was like, that's Shrine, right?
Well, you know, maybe they need... MonkaS might want to start praying. Not entirely sure. Yeah, we're going to Shrine, so we move it in here for Going Water S, as they do have a slight lead here on Nepal, 1-0, and MonkaS breaking out here with that 3-3 combination.
Yeah, MonkaS here going to be bringing out the 3-2-1 composition, rather. They're going to have the Sombra, kind of a pseudo support, going to be able to get into the back line and do a lot of good damage and get some hacks off. It's going to be a lot onto Cherry Ring here and Zijin to get a lot of the damage on and get a lot of it healed, as the tanks are going to be very, very beefy in this front line. And it's the dive from Going Water, actually.
Yeah, and Going Water with that dive, allowing the Sombra of Doha to build up ult charge quickly, but it's a 5v5 situation with MonkaS and half control of the point here. Rez, though, gets that fire right back into it, so Water will be able to rain down justice from above a lot quicker than normal. No Jiwon gets the kill onto Rory. At this point, MonkaS barely has a front line. Everyone's separated from the Lucio, who gets blown up and exploded, so no more left. Cherry Ring does go down for MonkaS, and now they have to fall back. Going Water has a clear advantage on the point.
Yeah, and now Water on this Farah is going to be dealt with. He's going to have some pressure a little bit now from Zijin. Can do a good amount of damage to that Farah, pressure her a little bit, but Amy is going to have to stay on her so that it doesn't really get that kill shot, you know. And as we see here, Doha with this EMP, it could be huge, Rapture.
Oh, it's going to be huge. Going Water S has the advantage now with that EMP, and they can go right in. Water gets nano boosted. Gonna be a next sleep, but gets hacked, thrown down, has to take cover, put down to 74 HP. Now gets bolstered right back up here with the Mercy. Chain healing them from behind, and now he can play much more aggressively with the barrage. Has this, both of these tanks are sitting right there on the walkway. Surprised Water didn't let that barrage go, but it was a smart play as they got immediately reduced to 60 HP. Now about to use the barrage, but sees the sound barrier again. Waits. Water being very patient, and a nice knockoff as Rory gets swooped away by the Primal raging Winston. And now it's going to be MonkaS who's clawing back, but unfortunately is going to be shut down by Going Water, who still controls the point here, 50% Kenobi.
Yeah, and Going Water doing a great job of just holding their ultimates for as you mentioned during that fight. Water holding that barrage for this next fight, and they managed to get the Lucio sound barrier out of MonkaS, but MonkaS have a lot of ultimates to their name. They have this Shatter, they have the Self-Destruct, and they have the Graviton along with the Nano Boost. A lot of ultimates in their bank right now that they could use to take back this point. They just need to be very careful of Water. But the sleep comes out, Rapture.
Yeah, you don't gotta be careful unless the Farah can sleepwalk. I'm not sure if that's an ability she's been added yet. There's the EMP, comes out from Doha, but at 50 HP, has to be careful, and the rest of their team's already gone down. So MonkaS still holding strong despite the EMP, and Going Water realizing that holds on to the rest of their ultimates. Actually, no Jiwon using the Self-Destruct to stay in the points now, so decides to do that. No, they got killed. had that, tried to get back in. So Jiwon still has a self-destruct alongside Water's Barrage and the Nano Boost for Noah. So Goin Water has the resource to go in, but MonkaS has a lot of crowd control waiting on the other side.
Yeah, and the EMP as well. Romeo is going to have it definitely before Doa. They just have to be very, very careful of Water's Barrage here. He's held onto it for a long time, waiting for that perfect moment, but Zijin is doing a great job of applying some pressure onto Water, so I like this Ana play. Managing the time between healing and doing damage is really something special to see in Honors.
And there's the Barrage on Water, finds the C-Design before they're able to get into cover, but only gets one shot, and then the Nano Barrage, Nano can shut in after the Barrage, that is, has to take cover against the Self-Destruct. Jiwon gets one on their own, on Ferrari, and MonkaS burns every ultimate in that portion of the fight, so now they have no way to get out of dodge, and Goin Water is looking for everyone trying to retreat. Gets one, finds it onto Chang on the Zarya, but Sleep returns the favor on Noah. Water gets back in the fray, helps shut down Sleep. And MonkaS, they burned everything, but they still, even if they continue to fight this fight, even if they were able to win this, Doha's still waiting with the EMP. There's almost no way to fight this back with any ultimates, and MonkaS has realized that. But at this point, they have no say in the matter. There's the EMP from Doha. They have some tanks trying to straggle onto the point, but at this point, it's just so late. MonkaS has no numbers, and Kenobi, I think this is it.
Yeah, this is probably going to be a nice charge from Rory. Andy is Nano, but he's going to go down, unfortunately. And you're right, it is just a matter of formality at this point. It looks like Doa is just doing so much damage. The Barrage is going to come out as well. That Sombra got a Barrage kill on that. Interesting. Don't really see that too often, but it is going to be Goin Water getting this 2-0 win pretty convincingly as well on that second map of Shrine. So really, as we've said so far, it seems like Goin Water is the team to beat in these open division playoffs. And unfortunately for MonkaS, again, they had those ultimates and they just weren't able to use them to their advantage. You go in with 4 ultimates, 3 of them the tank ultimates, and you don't get the point. It's rather frustrating at that point.
Yeah, it really is. And the tank line of the blue squad here just doing absolutely so much work. Goin Water, you can see right there, Unte with the Primal Rage was getting nano boosted off, and there's pretty much no room to work with here for MonkaS, and it cost them dearly, unfortunately. There's no room for them to work with on both phases in Nepal, so they kind of get routed. And now they're down a map. They still have room to work with, though. There are still 2 maps at least for Goin Water to win here. They have to win 3 maps. It is a best of 5. And don't go anywhere. We have more maps coming your way, but we're going to take a quick break to get situated for our next one. So don't go anywhere. More Overwatch, Open Division, Korea, Season 3, 2018, semifinals in the playoffs coming your way on the other side of the split. Welcome back, everybody. We're about to get started for map number 2 of our second semifinals matchup here tonight. This is the English broadcast of Korea Open Division Season 3 2018, brought to you by Broadcast.gg. I am Rapture here with Kenobi again, and we're moving on to map 2, which is Watchpoint Gibraltar. Between these two teams, Goin, WaterS, and MonkaS. Goin Water is already up 1-0 after winning on Nepal. Kenobi, what can we expect coming into Watchpoint Gibraltar?
So Watchpoint Gibraltar, it was interesting on the last matchup that we saw between Wildcat and Freesia. We saw variations of compositions. We saw sometimes there wasn't a Widow on a map that was very Widow-centric from one team, forcing them to switch over and have that Widow battle. And I'm going to be interested to see what the DPS is going to come out from Going Water. We saw a lot of Genji and a lot of Farah coming out from Water, who has been the star so far. So I'm really interested to see what these teams bring out, as it looks like for Going Water, we're going to be seeing we're actually going to be seeing no Water in this matchup. It's actually going to be Doa and Yampi in. So Yampi going to be maybe that Widow specialist that we sometimes see come in for these Watchpoint Gibraltar games.
Yeah, exactly. This is an opportunity for Going Water to just hold out stalwartly on MonkaS, using the Widowmaker on that high ground to just make it impossible for MonkaS to kind of peek, and then they have the Sombra. So this is up to MonkaS. Can they dive the Widowmaker? Can they get around the Sombra? Can they get around the tank line of Going Water? It's a lot to get done here. So of course MonkaS really makes sure, they got to make sure they've been prepared for this one. We already see Romeo putting some pressure here on the Sombra from Going Water. So now MonkaS knows that they got not only a Sombra to deal with, but Yampi on that Widowmaker.
Yeah, by the way, Yampi is their tanked flex player. Usually plays that Diva, but now it's Noji Jiwon playing it instead. And Yampi seems to be pretty comfortable on this Widowmaker, getting that nice pick onto Romeo at the start, dodging that hook shot coming out from Chang. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a stall here, as they're going to try maybe MonkaS push the payload a little bit under that underpass.
Yep, that's what they would love to do there. And Going Water just going to continue to hold on the high ground. Yampi again on Chang. And that at this point, Romeo realizes there's nothing else they can do but put pressure on this Widowmaker. But that means there's no more DPS in the front line against Going Water. So all this value coming out from Yampi. Meanwhile, Umte getting back out of dodge, about at half HP, bringing the tank line with them. And MonkaS also, and Amy will go down from Rory. Now 65 advantage here for MonkaS, but they still have yet to find Yampi, who then gets out at 43 HP, helped out here by the Zenyatta. And now the fight is transitioned over to the server room here, as both tanks just in their grills. But Sleep gets nano boosted just as they get hacked, so can't get full value out of that nano boost. Still, MonkaS with the player advantage. They not only get that 2 kills, but then the Dmacc and the shot from Romeo onto no Jiwon. So MonkaS already convincingly taken the first phase of Gibraltar.
Yeah, Amy a little bit greedy with his positioning there, just being too far into the enemy team, in the position where you can get dove, and a great dive coming out from MonkaS, a great shot coming out from Yampi there. But Going Water in this fight, they're gonna start moving up just a little bit more. They have a lot of ultimates to their name. They have the Self-Destruct, they have the Primal and the EMP, which comes out right now, Rapture.
Yeah, dives right in, and that's Doha just trying to keep MonkaS from getting out of there, but they're gonna burn everything to get out, even including the blade, which gets just absolutely stonewalled by Noah's Transcendence. But still, Romeo not gonna get their number out of their phone book right there. Continues to throw down some shurikens on Noah, who has at such low HP, but Romeo can't get the kill, so Yampi cuts him down. Now Chang with some shots, but still has to worry about the other Widowmaker. And absolutely no sight line here, so MonkaS really without much room to work with as the tank line from Going Water continues to play aggressively. The Self-Destruct doesn't land pay dirt from Sleep either, so MonkaS continued whiffs on the payload here as Umte with now with the nano boost 5v5 situation, trying to push up on the Widowmaker and the Genji. Looks at Chang, gets a lot of shots down, but goes super low. Oh no, and gets caught on the payload. Can't get out into cover, but the rest of Going Water will be able to pick up the slack here. 44 situation though, as Chang cuts down Yampi. Now Doha getting close to yet another EMP, which could easily seal the deal in this fight. Gonna try and shut down the Widowmaker first. Has the EMP ready to go. Gonna be able to throw it down on the other side of this Transcendence after that Sleep, but actually just gonna wait it out. There's no point in dropping it yet, as Doha and the rest of Going Water still has the player advantage.
Yeah, very scrappy fights here coming out from both teams. It's just pick after pick after pick, and the ultimates are starting to come online for both teams, but no one really wants to give an inch in this fight. MonkaS doing their best to try and push this all the way, but now they're going to have to finally back out a little bit with their health bars, and some of them not with their lives, as it looks like they're going to reset here. They have a couple of ultimates to their name. They have the Nano Blade, one of the most important ultimates that they could need in these next couple of fights, and no Transcendence from Noah on the other side to deal with it, but that EMP again from Doha could be huge.
Yeah, every time MonkaS wants to go in for another fight, Doa has an EMP pretty much ready to go, if not almost ready to go. So how can MonkaS get through this? Ooh, a nice sleep again from Zyme, but Yebi gets Chang, and there's the EMP 65 situation, and a huge aggro play here from Romeo with the nano boost, but that leaves the rest of the team kind of caught out just as chickens are ready to get plucked. Romeo does get 2 kills. It's a 4v3 situation for Goin Water as no Jiwon gets the kill, but there's an even net up. There's the kill from Cherry Ring onto Noah, and now it's Self-Destruct right in the corner for both. They're landing almost entirely atop each other, but it's only Jiwon who gets the Self-Destruct kill onto Sleep, as Sleep threw down their Self-Destruct first, and very often it's the first player to use their ultimate that loses in the mirror matchup there in Overwatch. Now Goin Water's reduced MonkaS after that pretty, bursty first phase completion, so less than 2 minutes here, Kenobi.
Yeah, I mean, it's still just the fights are just so scrappy right here. I mean, the Nanoblade came out, it got 2 kills, but the kills from the vanilla side from Goin Water were just that much better, and all the ultimates are pretty much gone now. Papori still does have his Primal Rage, but Goin Water looking a lot more healthier in their ult bank. They have the EMP again from Doa, and it comes out, and it's going to melt Papori. He can't even Primal Rage when you're EMP'd, Rapture.
Yeah, at this point, Goin Water is just running rampant right now on MonkaS using these EMPs. MonkaS, though, with kills, Romeo is pretty much their key, right? Like, Romeo, as long as they can get kills, can still keep pace. But that's the thing. They need to be doing better than keeping pace in Goin Water. They need to get the advantage. And MonkaS, sure, they can get a couple kills off of Romeo at the end of the fight, 2 or 3, but it's not enough to actually win the fight, so they keep coming out not on top.
Yeah, I mean, it always feels like MonkaS is fighting these fights from behind, and that's never a position you want to be, not just in ult charge, but just in heroes as well. That Nanoblade in that last fight came out at a 5v6, at a 4v6, definitely not ideal. While you get those 2 fights back, it just doesn't work, and now the Nano boosted Winston gonna just shred through these health bars, Rapture.
Yeah, Rory going down again at the beginning of the fight, again with Primal Rage for the 2nd or 3rd time in a row here. MonkaS cannot afford that. A Self-Destruct and Sleep burning these Self-Destructs to try and give themselves leverage, but none of them have hit anything. So Goin Water just taking those. All right, if you want to throw away your mech, we're not going to stop you.
And MonkaS here, again, they're probably most likely waiting for that Nanoblade to just pop off and just do something. Romeo needs to be huge with the Zijin already has the Nano, and this is one of their last chances, actually, if not the last chance. With 19 seconds, you have 1 Nanoblade left to win this fight.
MonkaS, they are doing their best, but they might have to take a rest here. MonkaS just been thrown down with 10 seconds remaining. They have ultimates, but they're just kind of waiting around until the Nanoblade has the opportunity to go in, and they find both towards the high ground, but Noah is ready and waiting, knows the Nanoblade's coming for them. It gets shut down, and no one's even on the payload. Oh, MonkaS just getting outplayed by Goin Water, and Goin Water taking it in stride, not even breaking a sweat. And now they set themselves up to only have to take half of the map to be up 2-0.
Yeah, a little bit of a MonkaS there from MonkaS, unfortunately not getting on that payload. And as we mentioned, they're relying very heavily on this Nanoblade combo. It's just not hitting pay dirt, unfortunately, for them. We saw in that last fight, it didn't really do the job. Then Shenzhen's was there waiting for them, and in those other fights it was getting 2 or 3 kills, yeah, but the other part of your team is dying at that point. So a lot is being put on Romeo's shoulders here, and Goin Water are just very happy to let Romeo be the carry, and they say, okay, we're as a 6-man group, we can win this over your just 1 carry.
Yeah, that's Goin Water right now seems to have an answer to everything MonkaS is throwing at them, and MonkaS is having a tough time really breaking through the Widowmaker, the constant Sombra hacks and EMPs, the constant nano boosted Winstons from and Noah. So if it's not one thing, it's another thing, and MonkaS really hasn't figured out their key to fit in the door. And the problem is that even if they do find that key, there's multiple doors they need to open. There's multiple ways they need to break through Goin Water, and they haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, maybe we need to get Romeo like a Keyblade. That'll maybe fix like everything, right? Just get him that Keyblade.
Or a Gunblade.
Or that too. That would also be a good thing. But it's interesting because the hacks coming out from Doa on that Sombra were so huge. Poor Rory had Primal for 3 deaths. That's the worst case scenario. You never want to be holding Primal for that long, and especially if it's not in your control. It's basically the team of Goin Water saying, okay, Rory, you're not going to be able to sustain through any of these fights. You're going to get hacked, booped, stunned, and then we're just going to be able to kill you, and you won't be able to Primal. Great play and great understanding of who to target on the side of MonkaS.
Yeah, exactly, and that's pretty much making it hard for MonkaS to really break out anywhere. It takes so long for them to finally get through Goin Water, because Goin Water has so much coverage that even if MonkaS is successful, they have no time to really work with that effect. So Going Water now on offense. They've given themselves a win condition here, about half the map and change to get through to MonkaS and be up 2-0 in the semifinal matchup here in Korean Open Division Playoff Season 3 2018. Thank you all for tuning in to the English coverage with myself and Kenobi and everyone on the desk. Here we go. This second attempt here on Gibraltar. Going Water taking their time, and why not? MonkaS is really respecting them here, Kenobi, giving them a lot of room.
Yeah, and it's interesting, this composition actually coming out from MonkaS as a triple DPS with a solo Ana. So Zijin's here gonna have to be very, very careful with his heals and make sure that he is staying safe. Even gonna have a little bit of armor to assure him from Cherry Ring there, and Cherry Ring, I'm not sure that Torbjorn works here. It's just you have a place where you can put it, but there is a lot of diving coming out from Going Water. You can get to it with that Diva. There's so much shielding coming out from Going Water and healing that it might be difficult for that Torbjorn turret to eat through a lot of these health bars and a lot of these shields.
Yeah, and it's hard for them to take care of a team that's using all this coverage on the right side and staying in cover and pushing up against him. Now look at this. The high ground from MonkaS is being lost here. Even though Chang does get the kill onto Doha, all right, they are able to get a bunch more. So Going Water continue to push their advantage until MonkaS last Chang just pop off, gets 2, and it snowballs from there. It looked like Going Water had the right idea, but they couldn't get the kills.
Yeah, that's a really good pick there coming out from Chang on that Widowmaker, getting the Brigitte. And with these 3-3 compositions that we usually see, it's very difficult for you to continue to push if you don't have one of your supports, especially the Brigitte, who can offer a lot of sustained and AoE healing with that burst heal that she has as well. So getting that pick was definitely their win condition for that fight. And now hopefully Chang can get another pick here as he has his sights aimed on the enemy team.
Yeah, and Romeo just throwing down a bunch of spam damage. Has the Riptire, but it's pretty close to the fray itself, so might not want to be careful of letting that Riptire loose. Meanwhile, Chang's going to give them some room to work with, going into the back line, looking for the Ana, but they're covered by the Diva, and immediately Jiwon's going to jump onto Chang and force them off. Meanwhile, Going Water has still realizes that Orisa and Torb is kind of holding up in the high ground, but the payload seems to be more important as they're below the 2-minute mark here. So Going Water taking the fight to the point, throws the Nano boost onto the Diva. Jiwon trying to throw some more damage down. And here's the Riptire we were looking for earlier. Romeo finds Noah, 65 advantage for MonkaS, but they're still going to hold on to the high ground, not let them get ahead of themselves. And Sleep will fight Umte as the Self-Destruct is thrown down from Jiwon that finds nothing. Sleep is still holding on to there, so Sleep being much more patient with the Self-Destruct than we saw earlier.
Yeah, this is really good because self-destructs are ultimates that you can sometimes Kobe, you know, if you're Poco, right? If you're Poco, you're hitting those bombs, you're hitting 3Ks all the time because you're just that much of a god, but it's usually a good idea to keep them for defensive and stalling purposes, which I like what Sleep is doing here. And also, we have the word is escaping me. We have Torbjorn's ult here, and we're going to be seeing it most likely to keep that Torbjorn turret alive and also give a lot of sustain for the Torbjorn. He's actually going to wait and move it, and then he's going to Molten Core. It looks like actually, no, he's just going to keep it there and make sure that he can pump out all of this damage.
I can't blame you for not remembering Torb's ultimate, because really, when do we ever see Torbs using their ults or being picked at all? There's the Earth Shatter. It only hits Sleep. And Sleep almost getting away from there. It has a Self-Destruct, so that Earthshatter's not going to buy them anything. But Sleep will find Yampy. What's a god to a non-believer? But unfortunately, they probably wish that Diva ultimate was a bit bigger than that. No Poco out here. You're right about that one, Kenobi. MonkaS still clawing their way on this defense here as Going Water is slowly but surely pushing it through. Can Romeo try and even the odds here? Rip the Riptire. There's a waiting, sleeping Reinhardt, but that Nano boost keeps them bolstered up. It's only Amy that goes down, but Jiwon immediately returns fire and gets rid of Zide. Now MonkaS with very few components actually on the point itself, because the Diva actually goes off to try and give some backup to one of their supports. And now Going Water with that is able to take advantage of the payload and their positioning and player advantage on it and takes the checkpoint.
Yeah, the savior of that fight really was that grab, I believe, coming out from Jiwon there, doing a great job of making sure everyone on the high ground was stuck to that wall, and then it came up with that graviton, and then the Diva was able to pump out so much damage, and those health bars whittled down almost immediately. So great job from him, and now Going Water as have a very, very, very good amount of time to get this last point.
Oh, Umte getting crushed right here, but still pushing forward, going right through the storm. 168 HP, gets bolted right back up. Minute and 50 seconds here for Going Water. Yampy and Chang trading shots, trying to hold the sight line here. Rory gets cut down and no ultimate charge really to show for it, so Umte will take the advantage. Now, that has some room for Yampy. Oh my lord, Chang gets absolutely cut right between the eyes, and a third eye opened up for there. Chang needs to get a little woke to stay alive in this fight. Yampy now gets on top of the ship here, and MonkaS has no positional advantage whatsoever. Umte throws down the Earth Shatter, doesn't convert clean, doesn't connect cleanly on anybody here. At this point, it's a lost cause for MonkaS. They're burning everything they can to stay alive here. And as Self-Destruct comes down, Jiwon will find on Cherry Ring Lucio that kill. And now MonkaS struggling to stay alive. There it is. Goin Water will take the second map. And now they're up 2-0 in this set with the win on Gibraltar.
Yeah, Rory just has not been having a good time with his ultimate game so far. That time in that last fight before Going Water S inevitably pushed all the way through. He got stunned by Brigitte out of his shatter, and it would have been a huge shatter too, but great play there and great presence of mind from Doa, I believe it was, to make sure that Reinhardt couldn't shatter. And that's one of the things you really like to see from Brigitte, is the understanding of when Reinhardts are about to shatter, and then when I can stun them and make sure that they aren't going to be able to get that shatter off. Great play from Doa there on that Brigitte.
Absolutely, and that's the kind of play that's been carrying them through this set. And through this set, Goin Water has accrued 2 wins in a best-of-5, so they only need one more map to take this. And off those 2 maps, there's a lot to talk about. Going to throw it over to Ham and the rest of the desk. Why don't you tell us about it?
Gather around, everybody. Pulsable Dream and I are here to tell you all about that. Wow! All right, so there is a clear reason why Going Water S is a fan favorite moving on in this semifinals, because, all right, okay, so here's what we have on paper. A 2-0, pretty solid. A 2-0 on Nepal, then we come in here and nearly a full hold on Gibraltar once again. And I mean, there's just so much to break down. We're gonna go all the way back to Nepal, and we saw some pretty interesting Farah play, and by interesting I mean outstanding. Pulsable, you were talking all about Water. We know he comes from LYB, of course, and has background in playing, but were you expecting this outstanding performance?
Honestly, he has such like a huge brain, right? Like 900 IQ plays coming out. The play I love the most was where he's on the Farah, he has the barrage, he knows that the other team knows he has the barrage, so he does the classic Farah maneuver where he launches himself into the air and drops down right on top of them. He baits out the sound barrier, and then he just leaves. He just leaves. The sound barrier is worthless, right? Such a bait. It's beautiful. And not only was he popping off on Farah, but also on Sanctum, the stage beforehand, he outclassed Romeo on the Genji entirely.
Yeah, Dream, anything you want to add?
I mean, I think that clearly we saw Water's big brain on display, but we also saw those insane mechanics to partner with it, right? Having the faith in your DPS to just give him the boost, have him pull the blade and kind of dash into the choke ahead of the entire team to engage the fight, have him still get a double kill and get out. That's definitely not just the big brain awareness, but some insane mechanics with that nano blade. And I think that Amy as well, in building up those fast nanos and staying alive when they're running that Ana Zen composition, I think has played to their strengths quite a bit.
Yeah, and certainly it feels like every member of this Going Water S team is a threat, right? It's like, okay, well, we're going to send Rory's a great main tank. We're going to send him into the backline, but surprise, your backline is now being dived by Umte, who, by the way, is amazing. I just quickly, before I throw it to you guys to, gush over the play as well, I just want to say Umte juggling that Sombra for the play of the game on Nepal. And then from afar, I thought he actually got just the boop kill and her translocator ran out or something. No. 900 IQ play, doubled back, expected the translocator to be on the Mega Pack, and it was, and got her on that backswing and finished that Sombra in a single Primal Rage. Just, chef's kiss.
Oh yeah, it definitely seems like Going Water S is just 8 steps ahead of anything MonkaS try and do.
Yeah, but I mean, that Torbjorn strategy, actually, if we move on into Gibraltar, that was an incredibly successful defense. Something that Water clearly wasn't expecting for Cherry Ring to throw out that, that Torbjorn pick, and it worked beautifully. Dream, you were talking about kind of, the defense trying to preempt the avenues of engagement that the attack may be bringing. Can you explain, how that worked out?
Well, we saw at least initially Goin Water was planning on running a dive offense. They saw kind of this high ground Torb setup, and they're like, you know what, this isn't going to work for us. Let's run a tanky Goats-esque comp, and we're going to try and just run onto the high ground and fight them head on. But the rotation was there. They were prepared, kind of a second position MonkaS had ready to go. They were in position before Goin Water was able to get up in their face. and it fails. Then they try the low ground as well, get punished by the Junkrat and the Widow on that high ground, controlling the blue box. So then they decide, we're just going to run onto the blue box, force you guys onto the point, and you won't have enough sustain to last out once we get this Graviton. It finally works out, but really you can tell that MonkaS was ready with this Gibraltar pick. They had this Torbjorn set up, and just the speed with which they had that rotation ready to go. They knew exactly where they needed to be, how to deal with this counter coming out. That's what you're excited to see when you see a map counter pick. You want to see these prepared strats, and it seems like Korea is liking the Torbjorn strats in this meta.
Honestly, I'm liking the Torbjorn strats, right? Possible?
No, I'm not. I'm not. Here's why.
Descent.
Even beyond the really smart blue box rotation we saw coming out from Going Water S, right? That turret was up the entire last fight on the first point. But when the support ults come online, when the sustain is there, the Torbjorn turret is basically just shooting peanuts, right? Like, it was there the whole time, but it doesn't.
Hot Cheetos, sir.
Yeah, flaming hot Cheetos, sure, why not? Especially when the molten core comes out, that's when they're flaming hot, right?
Exactly.
But it's just not enough burst damage to get through these tanky compositions, and it did almost work in MonkaS's defense, but then they didn't have anything prepped for when it didn't work, right? They fell apart on second point, they got steamrolled.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate, but still signs of life from MonkaS. Some really unique compositions, some unique strategies. So now moving on into our third map after the half, Coach Dream. If you were to, advise MonkaS, we've had a whole bevy of coaches on the desk, by the way. We have Coach Balmel, Coach Hirik yesterday. Coach Dream, you're going to sit down this team. I know you're rooting for Going Water S, but, if you're just going to lay some advice on MonkaS, we know that they have this potential within them. How do they win Assault?
Well, the one point they've capped so far, right? They got shut out on Nepal, and they got the point A cap on Gibraltar. The one cap they got was off of a pick going on to Amy. Amy was caught out of position during a rotation. They were able to jump on him and get the kill. Amy, the in-game and sort of spiritual leader of the team, also putting out a ton of heals on the Ana. So I think being able to get onto Amy, force a rotation, and try and catch him during that rotation is going to be their best way to claw their way back into the series here.
I think their best way to get back in here is keep it weird, right? You brought out the Torbjorn, and Going Water S for the first time, and the only time in this series, looked confused. They try some weird rotations that they didn't really think through, because the Junkrat gets them, and then the Widow gets them, and then they finally make it stick on the third try, but that Torbjorn threw them off, right? It threw them off their rhythm. So you need to keep it weird. Bring out Doomfist, bring out another Torbjorn, right? Just make them uncomfortable.
There we have it. Keep it weird. Possible 2018. You can quote him, folks. And really quickly before we get back into our third map, what are some predictions from you guys? You think that keeping it weird are going to carry MonkaS, force us into a game 5 potentially? Dream?
This is looking like a 3-0 to me, to be honest with you. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I am a fan of Going Water, but very dominant through the first two maps. I agree they were thrown off a little bit by the Torb, but I think they gathered themselves and executed. And I think you're probably not going to throw them off as hard as you did with that Gibraltar setup. I think that was kind of their chance. I'm seeing that MonkaS is probably out of this series after the third map.
50-mile-per-hour wins. That's how big a fan he is. How about you, Possible?
No, I gotta agree. I think you can, even if they throw them off and they get a hold or two, right? There's only so much weirdness that you can get in the Overwatch roster right now. It's such a balanced roster where teams are prepared for a lot of things. So it's gonna, if it was an uphill battle before, now it's like climbing a 90-degree angle.
Ooh, rough stuff. Will MonkaS be able to go through with their weird, or will they look like a turtle walking uphill on a piece of glass? We'll find out in map 3 right after this short break. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Welcome back, Overwatchers, to our third map of our second semifinals matchup here today. This is the English coverage brought to you by Broadcast.gg of Korea Open Division Season 3 2018 playoffs. I am here as Rapture, still, thankfully, as I don't know who else I would be, as well as with Kenobi for our third map between Goin, MonkaS, and MonkaS.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really dire right now for MonkaS. I mean, they did have some bright spots. You know, they have some weird compositions, and like Paulsville mentioned on the desk, they have the cheese, but cheese only gets you so far in this game unless it's solo queue. Then it just like turns into just an unstoppable mess that you and your teammates can't deal with. But for these teams that are more cohesive and have more communication, cheese again will only get you so far. And I'm interested to see what MonkaS brings out on Anubis, which is going to be our map that we're going to go for map 3.
Well, that's the thing about cheese. You got to have a little, just a light slice of it to accentuate your meal. If you keep it out too long and have too much of it, it just gets moldy. It goes bad. So you got to have some balance in your life.
It just weighs you down, dude. You just
exactly. Yeah, and like if we go to Anubis, I don't know if cheese is really good from the desert. That's just me. So.
I mean, you could have maybe some good cheese. The moisture it'd be really dry. That's
what
that
moisture?
Would be the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. See, it'd be really dry and dry cheese.
They have like cows out here. I don't know how the desert works. You know, I'm from the Bronx.
It's 20-50-50. They probably figured it out.
Is it? Is that where
20-50?
20-50-50.
Yeah, we're that.
Year that is 20-50-50.
I don't think Earth is going to exist in that one.
That is very, very far. I doubt this is where Overwatch is, but yeah, I would go in water right now. Might be playing in 20-50-50 compared to MonkaS. They've had certainly a stranglehold on the set so far, playing very convincingly. And now MonkaS essentially has to do a complete reverse sweep. They have to win Anubis and another 2 maps. There's a lot of work to get done here just to have a chance to make it to a 5th map, a tiebreaker, and go to grand finals. Kenobi will go into Anubis and go in water on defense first.
Yeah, pretty standard defense here coming out from Going Water. The Orisa Diva, gets that high ground, and then you can use that Diva to just kind of navigate around to the lower grounds if needed. And then you have the Junkrat, just the spam in that hallway is going to be very, very detrimental. And Yampi, as we saw, very good on this Widowmaker, is going to be behind that Umte shield. So we're going to see what he can do.
MonkaS losing their tank line so early. Rory gets melted immediately when they jump in, and then Sleep gets slept. And the rest of the team gets murdered. MonkaS only walks away with that 1 kill from Chang, but then they lose everybody else. So Goin Water shutting down MonkaS and reducing them, by 45 seconds.
Hey, Yampi on the flanking Widow, you don't see that too often, styling on him a little bit, and gets that headshot, and then that was probably it. But you're right, they lost their tank line very early. And Rory, we had talked about it before in these scripts that we watched earlier, where Rory is very aggressive, and it's kind of a live by the Rory, die by the Rory type of mindset from MonkaS.
Yeah, that's quite the thing to live or die by right here. But yeah, MonkaS needs to find something to get themselves back into it. And they're not sure what exactly that is. Their Orisa's out by themselves, or the Winston's out there by themselves. Romeo's trying to get things done, but super low HP, and the supports are doing everything they can to keep the Genji up. And here, no Jiwon, even if they go down, has to self-destruct. Rory is nano boosted, looking for the Junkrat, but has to fall back because there's a self-destruct running right away for them. Great play there by Jiwon, forcing out the rest of that nano boost in the Winston by forcing him to stay in cover. And there's the Riptire. That's going to Dmacc the Diva. A self-destruct is being used just to keep them alive. But at this point, MonkaS is kind of just delaying their next fight because Goin Water still has control of the point unless they can convert off of Rory's Primal Rage. They've already got 2/3 of the point here, Kenobi. Well, Goin Water still able to contest for the time being. Is MonkaS going to be able to do this? They actually have some kind of advantage, but it's slow. They still haven't gotten control of the point, and they have Amy on it. There will be a martyrdom kill there from the Junkrat, but it's not enough. Go only gets that 1 kill. MonkaS surprisingly able to get the first point A.
Yeah, they're going to get that first point, and it looks like they're actually going to get Umte on that, surprise Hammond. They're not being too surprising for them, and it looks like they're going to be able to make some switches from the side of MonkaS. Going to that Brigitte, one of those heroes where if you get on the point in this last point of Anubis A, you can do so much damage and bring so much sustain to your team. So I really like this Brigitte coming out from Chang.
Yeah, and Chang might need to have that extra shielding and stuns because they've already lost Romeo. So if they are already aggressive, they have very, little backup here. And then Chang goes down. 64 advantage here for Goin Water, and they're forcing the rest of MonkaS back. There's no choice. MonkaS does have ultimates, but it would be safer to just hold on to them. And why not? They've lost their Winston as well. So now MonkaS, they did get that first point, but no snowball.
And the same theory applies with Yampi as well. Yampi getting that stun onto Romeo before he could do anything, and then getting Chang out of the fight as well. Yampi doing a great job on this Brigitte. As I mentioned before, once the Brigitte is on the point, very, very hard to dislodge them and the rest of the team. And look at the ultimates for Going Water. Yeah, that tire from Doa could end the fight even before it starts, right?
Now MonkaS, all they have is the blade. Oh no, but the rip tire from Doha cuts him down, and Dmacc sleeps. So even though Doha does get bodied afterward by the debris of Chang, Going Water still has a clear advantage on the point, especially with Umtai, who was nano boosted and pretty much bullied everyone from MonkaS off the point. Then Yampi and Umtai clean up the kills, and Kenobi MonkaS now reduced to about 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
And you could tell Zijin there was looking for the nano blade, but as I mentioned, the Junkrat tire coming out from Doa, able to get Romeo out of the fight early and not able to use that blade. Gonna be switching over to the Doomfist, and Doomfist in these tight quarter situations offers a lot of stall and one-shot potential, right?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to break through this for MonkaS, especially with the close spawns too. So Going Water has not only the Bree, but they have the Doomfist.
Oh, the
crowd control. Romeo gets booped, so they can't get close enough to get a second kill on the nano boosted blade. And how many blades are really seen that have been nano boosted and just stuffed by Going Water? You get that blade, they can't get close enough to a kill, and they pay for it.
Yeah, that's Amy. That's the Amy we've been talking about on the desk. Dream mentioned it. One of the very, very good supports who built this team around him, getting that huge boop onto the dragon or onto the nano blade right there, making sure that he couldn't get the resets and the slashes to try and slice and dice his team. And now MonkaS going to be switching over to a more of a 3-3 composition here. Going to be bringing out the Ryan and the Zarya to see if they can just bully their way onto the point.
Yeah, and MonkaS has the rally waiting for this. Going Water playing they're showing their hand here, going for this left side push, but they have the Primal Rage plus the Doomfist Meteor Strike, so they have a way to get themselves out of sticky situations. They push up to the left side here. MonkaS ready and waiting for them. Sleep about to get back into their mech, throws that right back down. There's the Meteor Strike, and it crushes Zine. Now MonkaS, without one of those, both of their supports now, they've lost everything but Lucio here. So MonkaS, pretty much no way to continue this fight. Amy goes down, so MonkaS actually getting a bunch of kills towards the tail end of that. But Going Water able to trade with them just a little bit here, just enough to continue to control the point here. And Doa on the Doomfist will steal the deal with 2 kills in the tanks.
These are actually really, really bad stalls. The rest of MonkaS was already back at spawn, but now they have to wait for Rory and Romeo to get back into this fight. And Going Water, again, has the ult advantage now. Look at it. They have 4 ultimates to their name. They have the rally as well, so it's going to be very difficult for MonkaS to get onto this point. And Doa has been doing such a good job of disrupting the GOATS composition, the 3-3 coming out from MonkaS. And it's going to be very difficult for MonkaS to push in here.
And MonkaS now rushing to the left side. There's an Earth Shatter. And Umtai actually gets, they lose Umtai from that Earth Shatter from Rory. A great play. MonkaS baiting Going Water, but off of that, they don't really get anything. So surprising because MonkaS with a high IQ play there, baiting them into that Earth Shatter, but they don't get anything off of it except that 1 kill. And with Doa getting the kill onto Chang and shutting them down, now it's a 5v5 situation with Going in favor because they have the defensive spawns. So MonkaS, the kills are not coming quick enough for them. They get 1, they get a little bit of a surprise in Going Water, but they can't convert quickly enough. Umtai will kill Zine with Primal Rage. And now 1 minute and 30 seconds left here for MonkaS Kenobi, and they're just losing this time and time again.
Yeah, Romeo there tried to use that grab, but it was eaten, unfortunately, by Jiwon there. Great job from that Diva, making sure to negate all of that damage and all of the CC coming out from MonkaS there. And now MonkaS have to really put their carry pants on right now, because they have to really get onto this point. 1 minute left, and you don't have a lot of shatters available.
Oh, and as everyone's trying to retreat, the meteor strikes are on. There's the Earth Shatter. It's delayed slightly by a slight boop. Rory does not get much off it. Romeo's about to have Graviton as they're going for a slight left side push. And Going Water's going to wait right there for them with the Lucio sound barrier and the nano boost from Noah. And now it's Self-Destruct ready from no Jiwon. MonkaS just clumping up together in this left side, and Going Water's going to let them do that. Why not clump together? We'll just melt you all at once. And there's the Graviton, comes out holding everyone against the wall for Going Water. But again, no kills from MonkaS, and the sound barrier comes out from Amy just in time. It's now the Self-Destruct keeps the Reinhardt Rory away from the rest of the team, that allows Doha to single out on Romeo and gets the kill. Now Doha looking for more, gets out as they're purple by the nano. Oh, Great Earth Shatter there. Another one from Rory, but no kills. MonkaS, they're literally getting their kill confirmed, but they're not finishing the job. And now Goin Water is cleaning up. 7 seconds remaining for MonkaS. They hit all the right buttons, but they weren't able to put themselves in the right position to get kills. Now MonkaS reduced to pretty much nothing here. Overtime ticking away. There's a sound barrier coming out from Cherry Ring, but it's not going to be enough. You're going to be repelled back here by Doa and the rest of the crew. Jiwon is able to seal the deal, gets the kill. Overtime ticks away. MonkaS losing their opportunity to complete the map here, Kenobi. Now Goin Water only needs to get 2 points to win the set.
Yeah, and that was some phenomenal support play coming out from Amy there. Not only booping the Genji, the nano-bladed Genji, to stop him from getting those resets and damage, but also, as you mentioned, booping that Reinhardt mid-shatter to get him away and just out of range from the rest of the team. Great play from Amy here, understanding his cooldowns and using them to beat out the cooldowns for the side of MonkaS. I mean, if you can trade a boop for a nano blade or an earth shatter, you're definitely winning in that value.
Exactly, and that's what you want to be doing. Especially, you can see how much a slight disruption there can pay off, because the Earth Shatter, if it's not timed perfectly, pretty much gets nothing a lot of the time. So, great play, and Goin Water right now, I mean, they set themselves up for success here, Kenobi, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, with the time they have and with the way they've been playing so far, 1 point and then that's all they need. 1 tick on the second point is not an undoable job for them. They definitely have had the play so far to make me think that they can roll this all the way to a 3-0 victory here. But MonkaS going to be bringing out this Sombra. They're actually not going to be doing this. So they're just going to bring out the Symmetra, make the tanks and the supports go all the way up to the top lane, and they're just going to have Chang on that Widowmaker, kind of doing what Goin Water was doing on their defense. Hopefully it works out better.
Yeah, this is MonkaS trying to make changes here that'll give themselves some more DPS and some more sustain on the fly. And Goin Water.
Conga line.
There you go. And then
Amy. Hey, come on, Amy.
There's always got to be a party pooper.
Yeah, of course it's the May too. Like, of course.
There'll be time to celebrate afterward. A conga line, I'm sure you could be strutting along after you've gotten those 3 points. I think Amy's trying to remind them of that. Goin Water now pushing up strong here, swelling through the first choke point here on offense. And they only, like I said, only have to get 2 points, and they've defeated MonkaS. And MonkaS, they have a bit of a static defense here, so they have to be careful, because already Doha is encircling the MonkaS defense and giving them an opportunity to get some leverage in the back lines of MonkaS. We have to be quiet, because Doha is just sneaking right in, and MonkaS does not see it coming. There's no detection. There's the dive. They're going to go in a pincer maneuver. The Genji from behind, the Winston from front, and Chang off of that purple just gets mauled. A 2 kill there, double kill for Umte, and now a 6v4 advantage in Goin Water, just running right in. Now, there is a Cherry Ring res onto Romeo, but Cherry Ring is not in position to keep Sleep or Rory alive, so they pay dearly for that res. And Goin Water now just cleaning things up. MonkaS has been slaughtered. Goin Water gets the first point, and now they have a whopping 7 minutes to get the second point here and finish the map.
Yeah, that was such a disgusting anti from nowhere. They're getting that huge purple onto those teams, and Romeo's going to go down. That's actually a pick that they're not going to have. The tire's not going to be in point, and they can just roll this Rapture.
And it looks like they're going to off of this nano-boosted Winston. How are you going to break through the enclosure if the Winston's sitting right at the railing for you? And now as Primal Rage to be able to stay alive as they're below 200 HP. There it goes, pop. Oh no, that sleep dart from Zion misses. Sleep gets the Dmacc, and no one goes to sleep dart, almost able to hit sleep, but that also whips. Umte gets the Primal Rage kill on the Zion, but that gets cut down by Romeo. 5v4 situation here for Goin Water until they cut down onto Doa. Now it's 4v4. MonkaS has the Riptire from Romeo, but can they get it down in time? Romeo needs to throw it down. That could be enough to actually seal the deal, but no. Goin Water falls back. Even though they get a couple kills, it's just a long-range pick from Yampy. So MonkaS, for the time being, holds off.
Definitely for the time being, Goin Water going to have to postpone their conga line just a little bit more, as it looks like Goin Water here does have a good amount of ultimates to their name. They have the Dragon Blade that's going to come out with the Dragon Blade though. Oh, and he slices through the tire Rapture.
That was a huge mega brain play. The Riptire that could have kept MonkaS in this fight is no longer available. Ferraris is nano boost. It's about to have Earth Shatter too and just swinging away wildly, but by themselves. MonkaS has lost their DPS players. They've lost their tanks. They only need to get, or they still need to hold for just 1/3, but 5 minutes and 30 seconds here, Kenobi, and there's no way you're gonna be able to do that. Goin Water,
sick.
yeah, convincingly shutting down the opposing team, and MonkaS unfortunately can't hold on much longer. And there it is, Goin Water earning their ticket for grand finals after a 3-0 win in this set.
Yeah, and this is one of those matches where a lot of those small mechanical plays really came to light, and how much better Going Water S was. I mean, you saw with that Primal Rage, he bubbled before the Primal Rage and then stayed in bubble when the Anna tried to sleep dart him, and then went back to try and juggling the Anna. The boops from Amy stopping the shatters and the Nano blades, and then at the end you see there on that Dragon Blade slicing through that tire. That was almost the only thing that MonkaS had to win that point. Just great play all around from Going Water S. I'm super impressed, and they really do look like the team to be in these Open Division Korea finals.
Yeah, exactly. Both of these teams in these semifinal bouts winning 3-0. So if this is the matchup that we deserved, I think this is it. Wildcat versus Goin Water S should definitely make for an amazing grand final set when we get that towards the end of the weekend. And that was a great 2 sets we got to see here, Kenobi. Thank you all for tuning in for this, but we still have a little more to talk about. Gotta throw it over to the desk. Ham and Paul and Dream, a lot to talk about on this. Let's throw it over to them and see what they have to say.
Throw in and catch. Thank you, Raptor. Yes, we here at the desk are so ready. We are bursting with things to talk about on that Anubis map, because everything, all the little bits, like you guys said, those little bits of polish, we said, hey, this is a pretty interesting play here. That was an interesting dive right there. Good nades right here. It all came, all came to a head here on Anubis. So I'm gonna throw it to you first, Possible. Just what stood out to you the most? For me, it would definitely be the support play. We talked a lot about the tanks and the DPS and so on and so forth, but this is when the supports were really shining.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Ana is such a critical hero in the meta right now. The bio grenade is just so good to deny any team exactly what they want to do, right? And we saw both teams trying to take advantage of this. MonkaS on their offense, they had kind of a cheeky preset nade where he lobs it halfway across the map, and it lands on the enemy team. It doesn't quite work out, but it was a nice flashy play. Meanwhile, on the other side, Noah, no preset needed. When it comes to Goin Water's offense, nades the whole team. They run right through the point. They basically run right through the next one.
Ana's were certainly strong, and Lucio's as well, Dream.
Yeah, definitely a ton of great Lucio play from Amy. We saw some excellent boops, particularly breaking up one blade that comes to mind on their attack. So I think that we saw clearly the supports were standouts on the side of Goin Water. And I think we also need to give credit. I mean, their DPS were great as well, right? Obviously, we saw Yampi on this third map. We saw Water on the first one. Yampi come in for 2 and 3 and play really well on that hit scan. Also play well on the Brigitte. But I like that we saw Doha actually swap onto the Genji when earlier in the set he was not the projectile player, but he's able to flex. So a ton of flexibility, and that's got to be really scary if you're looking from Wildcat's perspective. You're going to face him in the finals. You got to be worried about the supports and the DPS from Goin Water.
Yeah, and a multi-threat team, and they're all able to link things up so well. We were talking about, the hive mind, it seemed, between Umte and Jiwon, the 2 tanks really backing up each other's play. Every time we saw Umte go in, Jiwon was at his back, and we saw that carry over into Anubis as well. Do you think it all just kind of came down again to that proactive versus reactive play, Possible?
Oh, definitely. When it comes to the compositions like this, the reactive play, especially when it comes to ultimates, right? Ultimate economy, right? We saw MonkaS pulling out a lot of ultimates when they saw an opportunity, right? It was like, oh, look, this shadow will work here. Oh, look, the tile will work here, right? Versus
oh, look, our
Going Water.
Genji died. Maybe we can sound barrier and still get a win, right?
Exactly. Meanwhile, Going Water did the exact opposite. They knew exactly what game they wanted to play from the very beginning and positioned themselves to be able to play it perfectly. Every single fight. It was crazy.
And you saw that specifically on the second point of Anubis when they were pushing in. They lose one person. They have 4, maybe 5 ults available, and they say, you know what? We're going to back up. We're going to make sure we have all 6 people, and they push in and end it on that fight. They don't waste any ultimates. They don't look for, being opportunistic. They know they've got a big time bank advantage. They don't want to throw it away, so they just come back and close out the map, close out the series 3-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Dream, you were talking about the next matchup we're going to see Monday, by the way, between Wildcat and Going Water. We've talked about both of these teams having a lot of that kind of discipline. What do you think will, work in Going Water's favor coming up against Wildcat, given this kind of stylistic similarity?
I think they definitely have the advantage when it comes to aggressive Genji play. I think they had the best combos based around Nano Boost that we saw out of any of the 4 teams today, and I think that that is going to be something that they lean on, whether they're playing Water on that role or they're playing Doha. I think that Wildcat, though, has the advantage in the Sombra department. We didn't really see a lot of Sombra in this second series. A little surprising for me not to see it quite as much. So it'll be interesting if they're able to, on Going Water side, to get the same value out of these DPS heroes if they're getting hacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
My worry for Wildcat is getting value everywhere else, right? Because you can't just shut down Going Water's DPS, right? It's not the only place they shine. They shine in every single department. They have so much star power on this roster for an open division team, right? And if they're able to shut down Wildcat's Sombra, Wildcat's DPS, I'm not sure that their tank and support line can make up the deficit.
That is going to be a pretty risky proposition. It's so much of this kind of counterplay coming in. My big question is going to be the tank lineup as a tank main or Ryan main. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before. Sorry guys who have to play with me. But yeah, Muse and White Snow, these are another 2 tanks that play together really well at, almost I would say to the same level of Umte and his off tanks. But there are a lot of other moving parts coming into our grand finals matchup, which will be coming our way on Monday. So any final thoughts, you guys, before we kind of wrap up here? It was quite a lot of good Overwatch to digest today. Possible, you first.
Grand Finals is gonna be sick. I can't wait to watch it.
Okay.
Going Water 4-0. Is it a best of 7 in the grand finals? I think they're taking it all. They've got too much momentum. They're ready to make it into trials. I'm not sure like if rosters are going to change from here going to trials. Some players from both of these teams could get poached, could be doing tryouts for contenders rosters. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen once we make it into trials themselves. But as far as finals here, I really think Going Water has the advantage.
Love it. Possible's like, I just want good Overwatch, and Dream's like, no, my boys, Going Water S. Remember it. That's right, Going Water S. Okay. I mean, regardless of what happens, Going Water S definitely go into the grand finals. They will be facing off against Wildcat on Monday here at twitch.tv/broadcast.gg. Times still to be decided, so feel free to drop us a follow on Twitter. We are definitely going to be putting out some announcements either tomorrow or early on Monday. And of course, this has been put on by Broadcast.gg. This is Korean Open Division Playoff Semifinals Season 3. And if you guys are interested, any aspiring esports broadcasters out there, Broadcast.gg, we are a community of broadcasters. You guys want to learn about casting, analysis, hosting. You want to be here casting Korean Open Division at some point. Join our Discord community. I believe the link is in the chat. And of course, you're always free to give us a follow on Twitter at BroadcastDotGG. And of course, for all of the lovely talent, it was Rapture and Kenobi casting our games today. I have been Ham Tornado, and on the desk with me, Possible and Dream. Give us all a follow as well. We're always putting out great Overwatch content. But that will do it for us today. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching some great Open Div. We'll see you on Monday for the grand finals.